Yeah, that's great.
Oh, that was
Short, but that's the exact part.
It looks like it would just be so easy to throw the spike.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Currently in Davenport, Iowa. A big old group of people. We were playing some best shot doubles here at Westlake Park off the long tees. You're not getting a full round, just kind of some random shots. But yeah, let's enjoy this day. It's like 93 out or something. Let's try to go low.
Hit the hole, let's go.
Clean putts only. Honest to God, I think I was so mesmerized by the fact of that barely, like I thought it missed, so I don't even think I turned the camera around. So, who knows what we saw. Looks good. Yep, that should be far enough and good. That'll be good.
That's like perfect placement, probably. Yeah. Super skinny.
I saw that line. That's nice.
I mean, if 1 and 2, that's where you got to go.
It's actually okay. Good shot. Yeah, it's just a little deep. Is that the FDO TD?
It's not the FDO. We're having a PayPal issue. Everyone's going to get refunded. We're going to have to restart all this. Sign up. No, don't. That's all true.
Good job.
That looks good.
Yeah, looks really
It's gonna hit the tree though? No, that's good. I don't know. Up in the sky, it is so hot. That was lower than his.
Yeah, but Michael's got a noodle on. It's fine. K3. That's the bird I would buy.
Partner. Oh no! What is that drop you got?
I want a burger.
Hey, we're still putting.
It's a great line.
It's a little short. Good shot, James.
Oh, no, you're right. I've never seen this disc before.
Who's that idiot's name on it? Man, whoever put their name on that disc knows what they're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a Gary Patton Tour Series Quasar?
Oh, what a shot.
Good shot, Michael. Completed birdie attempt. Hey, my backhand was actually really good.
Get this on camera?
Yeah, I am.
Too easy.
Look at this amateur taking his time on this putt.
High in the chains. Good.
Like that. Nice shot, James. That's good. That's butter. Butter on a hot roll.
I mean, kind of.
Partner, what a
Straight. Stay straight.
That's good. That's good.
Partner.
Crosswind, I think? Or no, yeah.
Ace wind.
Is that kill of it? Oh, it's Ethan again. Damn. It's like the third time today.
That's like 380, 390. Pretty hard.
Look at that roll. Rangefinder here doesn't say.
That's out of balance.
Yeah, that's terrible. Get up.
So did you feel comfortable throwing that flat shot in that school? Feel comfortable throwing high here?
Oh, I pulled it. Yes. This I planned it.
Okay, so there was a little bit of the Westlake practice round. It's very hot out. Like I think it's like 90. What's that say? This is 97. I don't know if it's actually hotter than that, but it feels hotter than that. Regardless, just played some Westlake doubles. We were keeping score, but then kind of just stopped. I don't know why. Everything felt good. I didn't really have to putt though, so I don't know how my putt is feeling. But yeah, so we're gonna go over and play Cam 2, I think, a little bit. Nice crisp break course. and go get some food and then go check in the Airbnb. See a familiar face walking right towards us. Look at this funky hat.
Whoa!
Who's this guy?
C-Rev, my brother.
Anything to say?
No.
That's his introduction to the video.
Flip, flip, flip. Don't hit that. Thank you. Wall clap.
We got you on film too if you ace.
He told me he's gonna make it. He almost made it. All right, so we just showed up to the Airbnb. I want you guys to see this. First reactions. It's pretty gnarly. Ready for this? Look at it. Look what George did. This is pretty choice, if you will. What blam. Got a nice little creek inlet here. Got a good old Mississippi. Look at that big old dam down there too. This is pretty nice.
I hit a grand slam.
This is nice, dude. Good morning from Bettendorf, Iowa. Round one of the Rumble is today. It's supposed to storm pretty badly around like 3 o'clock, and I tee at 12:50 or 2:30. So it's gonna be an interesting round. Hopefully we get to finish today, and hopefully it's not a nightmare. But I will enjoy this view of the Mississippi River a little bit longer and get ready to head out and prepare for the first round. Yeah, I don't have a filmer or anyone with me like that, so I'll just have to tell you about the round after it's over, and hopefully it goes pretty solid. I want to shoot under par. I don't know what number yet, but somewhere 5, 6 plus downrange would be awesome.
No way I made the second one, dude.
You're right.
Bigger than a
It's all
Snicker.
pink in the inside, brother.
Facts.
You're not recording, are you?
Me?
That's going straight on the bar.
What do you think?
That's the intro.
I can see the pores in your face right now. Here, look. Have a look. Look at
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Alright, so round one at Camden. I did not score well on the par threes. I ended up 4 down. Kind of disappointing. Especially because I had 3 eagle putts on par fours. Hole 13, hole 17, hole 8. I guess 5 and 6 and a half birdies, or eagle looks. So a little disappointing in that sense, but I had 6 birdies and 2 bogeys, ending up shooting a 4 down. Then I went into round 2 in 33rd place today, and we went to Westlake. Started out about the same. I birdied my first hole. The second hole, I bogeyed, and it was a pretty easy hole. Third hole, par 4, I birdied. Then I caged a putt for birdie on hole number 4. And this is where things kind of took a turn for the awesome. So on hole 14, if you ever played, it's an uphill Big Annie. Nico aced it a few years ago, but it's just an insanely hard shot. I threw it about 115 feet past pin high left, and I cashed the putt. A little change in scenery, but hole 14 hit a 115-foot jump putt. It was awesome. Actually, the only birdie of the day on that hole. Then the par 4 or 5 15s after that, and I forward that. Pretty much a birdie. Then 3 temp holes, I put the first one 18 feet, second one 100 out, and I smashed another jump putt. It was pretty magical. Then on the last temp hole, I was 70 out, and I looked at my friend Nick Snelling I was playing with, and I was like, hey, why not just make another one? And I canned another putt. Played pretty... I parred the next hole, then I birdied 17, which is actually like 14 in this equation or something. Then course number 18, I parred, and 19, I birdied. 20, I got in the woods pretty bad, had to pitch out and save my par. 21, actually had a nice birdie. I threw my matrix down around the corner and flicked the fireball up and hit a nice 20-footer. I was a little long, 25-footer. Hole 20, and when I say 20, they're kind of out of order because we just played an 18-hole layout. So hole number 21, or hole 22, yeah. I hyzered a little bit left of the basket and chained out for my birdie from maybe like 25 feet or so. I hit left side. I birdied 23, which is hole 17, and then 24. I didn't think I'd have a look at all. Threw a standstill forehand to 28 feet, 30 feet, and I freaking caged it. And I was one off the hot round. Moved me from 33rd to 13th, I think. We'll just kind of play it by ear and see how it goes tomorrow. Hopefully I can continue this stride, and yeah. But for now, I'm gonna go fish a little bit and enjoy some time with friends, and maybe do some little putting games or something. Round 3 of the Rumble is concluded. On the way back home now. I just went out to eat and tried to decompress some thoughts before I talk to you guys. All right, so round 3 and the last round, whenever it's at Camden, even at Westlake in the past, I have struggled. Most notably and recently last year, I had 16 pars, a bogey, and a birdie at Camden. My rating, and then on average, I should be shooting roughly 6 or 7 down at Camden. I haven't looked at the ratings today, but I'm pretty sure it should be something like that. I dropped the ball pretty hard today, once again. And it wasn't like last year. I had birdies. I just got in some serious trouble. So quickly to go through my round. Hole 1, pretty easy hole. I got in a very bad position, scrambled excellently, and left myself with a 25 or so foot putt. A little nervy because the basket's on a mound. I hit the basket itself, didn't give it a chance, leave myself with a 20-foot comebacker and I make it. Hole 2, which I bogeyed round 1, is like 175 feet up a hill and over a hump. Tight though, in the woods. Hit a tree short. I jump putt approach, leave it 38 feet short. Hit the jump putt, thankfully. Okay, we're even. Still fine. Next hole, I have a birdie putt from 30 feet. Do you know when you get that like little bit of water underneath your thumb on a disc? And you're like, man, I have super grip, right? So I kind of had that happen. I thought I figured it out, and then I go to putt. It's a downhill putt, and I hit off the top and go into circle 2 again, and I hit the putt. So I'm even through 3. Should probably be 2 down at this point. That hurts to think about in this moment, even greater than I thought. Hole 16 is an uphill hole, tunnel shot. It's bad. Like if you hit anything, it's terrible. If you're on a driver and you're throwing it, it's 315, but the basket is probably about, 80 feet above your head, 60 feet. I don't know. It's hard to tell, like gauge elevation. I throw it out in the main gap, hit a tree, and spray to the right. It is so bad that I cannot even pitch out. I have to throw a runway backwards. I land halfway in a creek, the slope to a creek. I throw a standstill forehand, hit a tree, and it slides back for a 30-foot putt. Terrible run. I take a double bogey. Throw a good drive, lay up, take a birdie. So I've got the birdie out of the way. It didn't take me 16 holes today to get a birdie. I got it on the like the 5th hole or whatever. I am then 1 over. Should be, I don't know. I guess I should have bogeyed 16, so maybe about even. When I say 16, I'm speaking of like normal hole numbers, sorry. So then normal hole 18 / hole whatever in the round, I hit a tree and sprayed across the creek. I threw a good upshot, but as I'm walking around, it was raining all day, off and on. I didn't even notice there was a stick, and I'm on top of a creek plateau. I put my left foot on the stick, and I just flattened myself like a pancake. I mean, I just Tarzan slid, feet swept out from underneath me, and I almost fell down in the creek. It was quite humorous, actually. Luckily, I wasn't so pissed off at this point where I don't know, just got extra mad, and so I was okay about it still. All right, so we get to hole 1. It's over a valley shot. I throw the best shot in the group. I am 33 on the dot. I made a lot of jump putts this weekend for the 14 in 3 rounds. So I jump putt and I hit the hooks on a Mach X, and that obviously just shoved me. It's like a 50-50 putt, I'd say. Hit the hooks and it just hit stiff and fell on the ground. So there's a par. Probably should have made that putt. Next hole 2, I throw a terrible tee shot. And keep in mind, all these jump putts are great that you make them, but it's terrible that you leave yourself in a position where you have to make them. So hole 2, I land approximately 35 feet away. The chains are wet. I hit dead center middle right on a Mach X with a jump putt, and the wet chains slide me right out to the right side. So there we go again. I should be under par at this point. I'm not. It's starting to compile and I'm getting pretty frustrated. I'm not gonna lie. I get to hole 3, I square up a tree, spray to the right, try to throw a turnover shot through a tight gap, spray to the left. As my round progressively gets worse, I obviously feel more and more pressure to score, leading me to more erratic and chaotic shot selection. I chunk my next shot short, have to lay up and take another double bogey. So we have 1 birdie and 2 doubles. We're 3 over. Good news, I do not bogey the rest of the rounds. Bad news, scoring is far and few between. Okay, so that would leave us into hole number 4, par 5. This hole can cause huge numbers. You go downhill over a creek, you follow the creek around, and you essentially go up a walking path with trees juxtaposed all throughout it, up a hill. The basket's on a pretty chill. Pretty chill green. So on that hole, I flick my drive too far. I go to lay up with a putter because I have no other choice. With the forehand, I forehand it too wide. I hit a tree on top of the plateau, and I kick down into the creek where you don't want to be. And the creeks here, if you've ever played, are very, very steep and far below the ground level of the fairway and whatever else. So I'm down there, I chip a flick up, and I have to throw the same exact flick I threw for my second shot. I range found a bush instead of the basket on accident, so I threw about 50 short, and I made another jump putt to save my par. So we're rolling now. We rolling through 1 hole at least. We did something good. I throw a really bad upshot, air ball like a 50-footer for birdie, make a nice 30-foot comeback putt. Then we get to hole 6, it's an eagleable par 4. So there is a gigantic backup of like 4 cards, and I yank my disc over to the right. I'm obviously having trouble getting grip, but whatever. I throw a matrix to the top of the mouth, meaning to go all the way down, but I hit a tree. And then the green on this hole is outrageously fast. I flick it down there, and I leave myself with a 20-footer, maybe 22 feet. I save my par. I'm absolutely thrilled about that. When we get to hole 7, I have a circle 2 birdie putt, but it's very obstructed off the cage. Hole 8, I put a drive like 440 feet down this tight tunnel. Leave my upshot 33 feet short, make it for birdie. So I am 2 up. And keep in mind, 6 or 7 down is my rating, and we're running out of holes here. We are, this is hole 8. So I have 9, 10, 11, 12, and that's it. 4 holes left. I'm not getting to that rating number if you can't already tell. I started this round in 13th place, averaging 10.08. By this point, I'm in 24th place, and I'm not going to average anywhere close to 10.08. So then we go to hole 9. It's a par 3. Throw a terrible upshot, or a terrible drive, good upshot, get my 3, and then we get to hole 10. I'm sitting 2 over par with 3 to go. All 3 very birdieable. I had a terrible thing happen to me on hole 10, round 1. For some reason, I always choke this hole, and I mean, it is easy. I aced it in a practice round like 9 years ago. So I get to the tee pad, and my friend George Andre, who always is near, and I was staying with at Airbnb, he's been walking with us for a few holes then at this point. And I told him that I've not had a circle one putt on this hole, and I'm talking, this is the easiest hole in the course by far. I've not had a circle one putt on this hole. It's 300 feet downhill, it might be like 310, downhill with a backstop over a creek, but it just plays so easy. You just throw it downhill into the hill, and you're great. So I tell him, I was like, I said something like, I swear, if I don't have a birdie putt from circle one on this hole, I'm gonna freak out. Just being kind of funny. So then I grabbed my two anodes, my flippy purple one and my more stable newer one, and I decided to throw the purple one that has been flying pretty ferociously the entire tournament. It's obviously my fault, not the disc's fault. So I decided to throw it. I popped this thing on a hyzer, and slowly stands up, and I mean, it pretty much was heading straight towards the middle of the chains the entire time and blasted it dead center for an ace. So that puts me to even on the round, which I shot last year and was very, very upset about. So I'm still thinking maybe I can get the two down, whatever, an ace. No one else hit one. That's like $450. That makes up for my unfortunate dropping of positions and all that good stuff, but we did it. We hit an ace. I'm pumped. Go to the next hole 11. I somehow regained my composure quicker than I ever have in my life after an ace, and I throw a shot and I literally almost aced the next hole. It was insanely close. 20 feet, just deep of the basket, and I have a bush in the way, and I freaking nub out. I end up throwing a pretty poor drive and a poor upshot on the next hole, and then my second upshot was great. So I kind of birdied it from where I should have landed off the tee, but instead I had like a bad shot in between, so I just parred it. So, long story short about all of this, I ended up in 20th place, dropping 7 spots. But there's a silver lining to all of this. I ace, so I technically, that shot I threw there, like, I pretty much, the putt I fell out of made me miss, like, I think it was $32 or $32, that's right. And the fact that I ace brought me up 2 strokes, so it ended up being worth like a $600 ace if you were to think of it that way. I could have birdied the last 2 holes and had my composure a little better, but in the grand scheme of things, it ended up being like a payout almost good as like 2nd or 3rd place, which is fantastic in that regard. So the silver lining to all of this, the round I shot was so bad, I don't think it's even gonna count on my rating. Either way, hey, there's a rainbow over here, check this out. Guys, I don't know where this is gonna fit in the video. It's been a lot of talking. Hopefully I popped up some graphics for you guys. But as always, thanks for watching. Sorry for my rambling. It's been 18 minutes here, I see in my car as I've been driving home. But I don't know how much of this is gonna get to video. But guys, thanks to my sponsors, as always, MVP, Plastic Addicts, and Paragon. Thank you for joining with me through these adventures of my very confusing at this point disc golf times. I think all in all, we're gonna come out of this tournament with like a $800-ish check and I guess a 1010 or 1008 average rating if that 951 drops. It's crazy how stuff works out, but I mean, I guess that's why you have your deviation, your anomalies, because of things like this. But either way, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.